Hey, how you doing? Well, today the doggies and me, as you can hear the dog in the background, are exploring the Jefferson Highway, the branch that goes through St. Joseph. St. Joseph was the headquarters of the Jefferson Highway, and I learned yesterday also the Pikes Peak Highway. And these old highways are the predecessor roads to our numbered routes and eventually to our interstate system. And the government back then was really hands-off and in many ways kind of short-sighted, as governments in Europe had invested heavily in infrastructure for quite a long time before the United States got on board with it. People started seeing the benefits of that, where they could find good roads. So the good roads movement began in the United States. And many of the people who didn't see government stepping in the way they felt it should and campaigned very hard to get the government to start stepping in actually took that ball and ran with it, and themselves started designing and building good roads. And by that I mean individual farmers actually would find a section of road that would go past their farm and would get a grader or a piece of equipment or a tractor and actually maintain the road themselves. And you would think, why would they do that? That's not to their benefit. Well, they did that because in the end they saw what benefited everyone benefited themselves as well. We really should reflect back on that, especially these days when there's a lot of people who are kind of saying, why should I do that? Why should I be bothered? Well, because we talk a lot about the blessings of liberty in this country, and that only comes when people step up and say, I'm going to look beyond myself and my own individual needs and progress everyone. What floats all boats also floats mine. And so I'm starting out here at City Diner in Kansas City, which is actually on the Jefferson Highway. And it's right at an interesting corner of the Jefferson Highway. And I haven't had anything to eat yet, so I'm going to start out here, and then we'll go from here. So, woohoo! And to look at something I think is pretty interesting. Doggies are happy to stretch their legs. I got this little gas station here, service station. Looks like it's empty now. But look up here, the way it's adorned. It's pretty cool. These old wheels. I don't think I could have picked a colder day to do this. Smithville's got a really nice, pretty downtown, quaint. There's a big lake close by, Smithville Lake. I'll walk here in downtown really quick because I'm cold. This is the Jefferson Highway here. It heads north at this corner and then kind of rounds a corner here at Main. It goes that way. The sign says pine to palm, but that implies that the direction you head on the Jefferson Highway is from north to south, but we're going from south to north. And one of my pet theories is about it being the jazz highway, meaning that the jazz music traveled from south to north, from New Orleans to Kansas City, into Canada, Minneapolis and Canada. So I guess I'm saying it doesn't matter which way you go. It's just what you do when you go there and what you find on the way. But we are going back to the car because it is cold. Cold, cold, cold. I know, I'm just being wimpy. By February, this will be like balmy. Anyway, we're heading north. Stop is here in Trimble. I like this building because I think it could be a good date to the era of the Jefferson Highway. This is the Jefferson Highway, and this is actually where it splits. That intersection over that way is where you head west towards St. Joseph, the St. Joseph branch where we're going. And this is where you head north and east. And it's kind of a neat little stop here. It's a pretty nice little quaint village. It's very picturesque. I like it. And I really like this building up on the corner over here. I did a sketch of it. It looks almost like it's being used as a house. And we're gonna go continue on the St. Joseph branch now. To an interesting spot north of Edgerton, Missouri Conservation Department. But this area, I don't know if I can show it on this map, somewhere around here, I'm not sure. I think there may have been a bridge or a way to cross. I think the highway originally crossed somewhere around here. And there's the river, and it's, you know, like a vast kind of swampy area. Well, maybe not so vast, but could use some further research and study. There's a boat ramp here. It's very pretty. It's this great Missouri birding trail. Anthony and Beatrice Kenzora Conservation Area. So now we know. But that's really a lot of the fun of traveling these old auto trail routes, is that they're not a finished work. They're very much in development, and you never know what you can find. You might rediscover something that people hadn't known about for over 100 years, and or you might find that, you know, your maps and everything else don't agree with what's actually on the ground. Either way, we're going back into town and then heading west on more of a main road, which actually may be the actual route. I don't know. You know, some of the maps that I use, maps are kind of hard to come by, and some of the ones I use aren't very detailed. And I guess there were detailed drawings of every mile of the route sometime way back when, but I've heard a theory that when the Great Depression hit and the associations kind of folded up for lack of funds, a lot of that kind of stuff went in the dumpster when they shut down their shop. So it's a shame, but maybe it gives people an opportunity to explore and find out things. I like to think of it that way. This is where my map says the Jefferson Highway actually crosses, but as you can see, that's impossible. Let's go for a little walk. Come on, doggies. There's the Dearborn water tower. There's some dogs that are itching to get out of the car. We're coming up to I-29, which is why the Jefferson Highway wouldn't be able to cross here anymore. It did, in fact. You know, take these maps with a grain of salt. Don't be like, oh, I saw it on a map somewhere, so it has to be accurate. Now, these maps are drawn by very fallible people who aren't experts at doing research, like myself. There's an outer road you can follow north, and I believe it does cross over the interstate here. But actually, I don't know if you can see it. Maybe I can zoom in on a little bit. You can see the crossing. The Z Highway goes across, and then it joins back up to the south of this road over here, which dead ends at the highway. There's a guardrail here, I guess, to keep you from driving straight and having a horrible accident. So I can imagine at one time the road did go straight through here, but we're gonna continue west then north. We've come to the Pony Express Museum in St. Joseph, the history museum dedicated to local history, but especially Pony Express. See, Pony Express started on April 3rd, 1860. It was This monument was erected in 1912, looks like. And I don't know if you can see it through the sun, but there's a Pony Express stables. And a nice little park here. And a Burlington steam engine static display. Little marker, talk about the history of St. Joseph. Let's get a closer look at this steam locomotive. Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy. St. Joseph was the headquarters of the Jefferson Highway. And there's a picture of it just recently uploaded. Unfortunately, I didn't do all my research properly, and so I'm having a hard time finding the address. If I find it, I'll go by there, but if not, then I'll just have to do it another time. Pretty nice mural on the side of this building. You know, the sun is always working against me, but that's a cool one. I, of course, love my neon Googie signs, and they preserved a good one here. Pony Express Motel. I wonder if there's any kind of maker plate or marker on it or anything. I wonder if all these light bulbs work. I think it does. Don't quote me on that. So here's where I'm going to pretty much end my exploration. I'm going to turn around here northeast of St. Joseph. Actually, there's another alignment in town I'm going to explore as I head back south. And then I'm going to stop at a coffee shop and kind of compile all my stuff that I've gathered so far and see if it's making sense. But you know, I'm running out of time, and I'm a little bit up to here, you know, with everything, so that it's kind of like if it starts jumbling in my mind, then it probably won't work later. But yeah, there's a little curious squiggle on my map just to the southwest of here. This is Avenue City, I think, and it's another one of those places where maybe at one time the old country roads went across a little bridge, a little horse bridge, and when they first made the alignment of the road, it went across the 100-mile river, creek, whatever there. But now, you know, the road has been turned into this is 169 right here, so it's been turned into, like, you know, a U.S. highway, and the federal government, with powers of eminent domain, were able to straighten out all the crooked lines and, you know, right angle intersections. So this is a pretty good US highway here. And, you know, this is a road that Jefferson Highway spawned. And I'm going to go back into town and see what I see there.